Title: He thought he'd eat alone, until a mother said, "My son's hungry, can we stay a while?" He chose the corner booth because it was quiet. The kind of quiet where no one asked questions and no one expected conversation. After a long, heavy day, all he wanted was to sit down, eat his meal, and disappear for a little while. He believed this dinner would be just him, his thoughts, and the soft clink of silverware. Then a soft voice broke the silence. "Excuse me," the woman said gently. "My son is hungry. Can we stay here for a while?" Before the story continues, take a moment to support the channel. If stories like this move your heart, please subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps more people discover stories of hope and kindness here on my channel. The man looked up and saw a young mother standing beside his table. She couldn't have been more than 30. Her clothes were clean but worn, like they'd been washed too many times. Her hair was pulled back in a loose ponytail, and her eyes held a tired kindness. Next to her stood a small boy, maybe 6 years old, holding her hand with both of his. His sneakers were scuffed, and his stomach growled loud enough for everyone to hear. The restaurant wasn't fancy, but it wasn't cheap either. A place where people came to unwind after work, not to be reminded of life's harder edges. The man felt a familiar tightening in his chest. He had come here to be alone. He had chosen this booth for a reason. But when he looked at the boy, he saw something that stopped him. Not desperation. Not fear. Just hunger. Plain, simple hunger. "Sure," the man heard himself say. "You can sit." The mother's face softened with relief. "Thank you," she said quietly. "We won't be long." They slid into the seat across from him. The boy sat straight, hands folded, eyes wide as he stared at the menu like it was something magical. The man noticed how carefully the mother watched the prices, how her finger paused before landing on the cheapest item. When the server came back, the mother ordered one kid's meal and a glass of water for herself. The boy looked up at her, confused. "Aren't you hungry, Mom?" he asked. "I ate earlier," she replied with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. The man had heard that line before. Years ago, his own mother used to say the same thing. As they waited for the food, the boy began to talk. He talked about his school, about how he liked math but loved drawing more. He talked about the dog they used to have and how he hoped to get another one someday. The mother listened closely, nodding, encouraging him, even though exhaustion weighed on her shoulders. The man found himself listening too. Against his will, his loneliness began to loosen its grip. When the food arrived, the boy's face lit up like it was Christmas morning. He ate slowly, savoring every bite. The mother watched him, her hands wrapped around her water glass. Halfway through the meal, the boy looked at the man and said, "Thank you for letting us sit here." The man smiled, surprised. "You're welcome, buddy." Something shifted in him at that moment. He realized how small his sacrifice had been. A seat. A few minutes of his time. And yet, to them, it meant warmth, safety, and dignity. When the check came, the mother reached for it quickly. The man gently placed his hand over the bill. "I've got this," he said. Her eyes widened. "Oh no, you don't have to." "I want to," he interrupted softly. "Please." She hesitated, pride and gratitude wrestling inside her. Then her eyes filled with tears. "Thank you," she whispered. "You don't know how much this means." He shook his head. "I think I do." As they stood to leave, the boy reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, folded piece of paper. He placed it on the table. "I made this for you," he said shyly. After they left, the man unfolded the paper. It was a drawing of 3 stick figures sitting at a table. Above them, in uneven letters, were the words, "Thank you for being kind." The man sat there for a long time after they were gone. The food in front of him had gone cold, but his chest felt warm. He realized that he had walked into the restaurant believing he was alone in the world, carrying his own quiet burdens. But kindness had a way of reminding him that everyone was carrying something. That night, he tipped the server extra. The next morning, he held the door open for a stranger. A week later, he volunteered at a local food pantry. The small moment in that booth had rippled outward, changing the way he moved through the world. And somewhere out there, a mother and her son remembered a man who let them sit, who saw them, who treated them like they mattered. Kindness doesn't always come in grand gestures. Sometimes it's a shared table. Sometimes it's listening when you'd rather be silent. Sometimes it's choosing compassion when convenience feels easier. If this story reminds us of anything, it's this: we never know how hungry someone might be, not just for food, but for understanding, warmth, and hope. And when we choose kindness, even in the smallest moments, we can change a life. Maybe even our own. So the next time you think you'll eat alone, remember this story. There might be someone nearby whose life could be changed simply by asking, or by saying yes.